Hey everyone, what's the crack? Lawrence here with the Asetek Formula Pro steering wheel. This is exactly like the Invicta, except half the price. I'm not really sure why. Today we're going to find out. Let's do this. So, firstly, we have to remark, guys, look at this box. It is retro to the core. I don't know if they purposely went for a very retro gaming kind of font, but the bright light on the background, and it looks very retro in my eyes. I think maybe it is that font, the way it says steering wheel and that on there. I don't know, but I love packaging. I love when stuff is packaged nicely, and this is like Asetek do quite well. They do well with their generally lack of use of foam. Of course, there's some foam in here as I say that, but I remember receiving the pedals and they actually didn't have any foam in there, so kudos there. There's a little safety information booklet here. There is a product warranty booklet in here as well. Product manual easily available here. And then congratulations, before you fire up your favorite sim, it's important you have the latest version of the software as well. So the product manual and the software are slightly different. There's no link here for the software, but you just have to go to the website to get that software. We've got some stickers in here as well, and there are actually some stickers stuck to the back of this. So let's see if any of those come off here. But this sticker sheet, kind of familiar with what we've had in the past. And then here we've got these stickers for on the steering wheel. Now, I've had criticisms of the stickers in the past. They're the writing's a little bit small and they block the LEDs. The LEDs aren't on the buttons. So they're all things that we're going to cover in this. They're some of my minor gripes, but once the stickers are on, they're decent. I can't say they offer much value other than blocking out a lot of light though. But it's good that we have a great range of the various stickers there. And then these are kind of a hard surround for behind the center rotaries, so we can clearly label those. Again, we'll go through that in a little bit more detail here. That is that one sheet? No, there seem to be multiple sheets here. So it seems like we've gotten multiple colors. I'm not sure if that's the way that everybody will get them. I would assume so, because they're just stickers and I didn't send them any customization preferences. But we've got colors here, red, black, orange, yellow, and purple and blue as well. So that can match your center rotaries. Now, what I'm confused about here, guys, is how the hell have they gotten this to this price? One of the reasons, quite simply, there are no handles with it. So that's already a little bit of a saving. But in my mind's eye, at a glance here, that looks exactly like the Invicta. And I'll grab the Invicta in just a moment. But even just picking it up, of course, we've got the composite plastic here. So it's not the exact same housing. Maybe when we see them side by side, we'll see a bit of a difference. But what they've done with their most recent line of Forte wheels is they've also upgraded these thumb rotaries and the buttons, and all of this is just it's just good quality. Here we can see where those stickers would sit in. So those stickers that I just mentioned there earlier, they would sit just inside here under the rotaries and not blocking the LED. So yeah, this comes without the handles. So in the box, we don't get much else. We get some tools. We actually get some little spare knobs for the 7-way hats. So that's interesting, because it comes standard with the orange ones, but you've got black ones if you want to get rid of that orange. So that's great seeing Asetek taking that on board. Some people were just not a big fan of the orange, but we see a lot of other brands, Simagic, Simicube, also using orange. But this is a far more, I think, forgivable orange, or live-wittable orange, than what we have seen in the past maybe. We've got shifters here. So if we take this one out here, there we go. The other shifter is just there. And if we take a look at the back here, we can see that we can put the shifters on here in the middle. We can have extra paddles at the top as well, and clutch paddles as well if we want. And again, out of all the brands, Asetek is probably the most affordable for those add-ons. So if you have one of these wheels, I would strongly recommend looking into those extra paddles and clutch paddles as well. and the quick release is pre-installed. So with this great price, even though you don't get the grips, you do get a quick release, which is a big thing. For me anyway, it's a big thing. Let's get it side by side with the Invicta and let's see what we're dealing with here. When installing the shifters, there's no cable or anything that you need to install. The one thing you do need to do, I'm not a big fan of this procedure, you need to loosen this so that this part can slide out, and then it will unveil. There's a little bolt in there that goes into this hole. So when you put this on here, that bolt should roughly line up and you should be able to just stick this in there and then start turning this bolt if it connects inside. This is fiddly, but at this price point for something like this, I put up with a lot of fiddliness. But as you can see, that's not, and I've done this could be 10 times at this stage, actually more, because I've done additional paddles as well. So that doesn't seem to be working for me at all, and that magnet keeps trying to take the tool away from you. So it's just really annoying. Now it could be the angle that I'm at as well, but one thing that's really worth noting, okay, I got a little bit of purchase there. One thing that's really worth noting is if you over loosen this, this whole paddle can come off, and there's a little tiny square bolt in there that slots into kind of a channel. If you lose that, you are absolutely goosed. I've had to buy new paddles because I couldn't find a little nut to replace that because it's just tiny. So be very careful with that. There we go. That's a lot better now. Now we need to remember to just fasten this one back again, and I actually have it roughly around there. So this can make this travel in and out, but I usually have it roughly around there so that that's kind of a circle. That's where I like my shifter. And then you need to make sure that this is quite tight because otherwise that will rattle loose, and that's how I lost that little square nut. So just something to be aware of with all of the Asetek wheels. So taking a closer look at them side by side, they look almost identical. Now I've got red accents on here. You get to customize the Invicta on the website, whereas the Forte, you kind of have to buy those extra bits yourself and buy those bits and get those bits, put them all in yourself as well. So as I say, you can change the front rotaries, but this is, let me just be very clear on it, this is identical hardware between them. The reason this one's tilting back is because if we turn them around, on the Invicta, we've got the additional paddles. I would also highly recommend getting those additional paddles if you have this one. You don't have to get them straight away, which is great, easy on the budget. The QR is the native QR, but it is removable, so you can actually install whatever QR you like onto this, which is very, very nice. You can get a flange piece that will allow you to install, for example, SimMagic or whatever, and there's a USB cable inside that allows you to, USB-C, that allows you to plug in the USB-C cable, so there's no messing around with pins and the likes. So when we look at the QR on the Invicta, it is a slightly different QR. It's a bit more heavy duty. This one is a lot more simple. This is the composite plastic. The grips, because you can kind of decide on those yourself, I've gone for identical grips here, especially for the comparison purposes. One thing that we'll notice before we get away from the back is this is a CNC housing. This is your composite plastic. So we've got extra buttons on the Invicta, and those buttons are quite nice. They're the same as the buttons on the front, but it's quite nice to have them there. You don't get those on the Forte, and there's no way to upgrade to them in the future. So do I use them on the Invicta? I personally do. Could I live without them? Yes, especially with these paddles on the back. I definitely could live without them. So just for a bit of perspective, this is the Forte steering wheel, the latest incarnation of the Forte steering wheel, and you can see there are a lot of similarities. They're almost identical, except this one has the screen. So really the Forte Pro came as a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't expect them to come out with a screen at this level. I thought that was going to be their flagship, and I would honestly say this is one of the best steering wheels in sim racing. The Invicta, the fact that they've just gone and like halved the price, because the functional parity is achieved between them other than those buttons on the back. The rest is just materials and customization options from the website, to the best of my knowledge. So that kind of blows my mind that they were able to take so much money off it. And even though I haven't used this yet, and I'm about to put it on the rig and put it through its paces, it is frightening. Like if one of Asetek's competitors did this, if they took the Invicta, made it more affordable, like half the price, and started selling it, Invicta, like the Asetek would be in massive trouble. So what Asetek have achieved here with this steering wheel is to create a sub €800 steering wheel. So you're talking about what, 850, 900 euro all in, with the quick release, with the grips and everything. And it has feature parity with the Invicta, which kind of blows my mind a little bit. It is one of the, at this level, one of the best value propositions in sim racing right now. One thing of note, their third-party QR with the USB apparently does not work with this yet. So I'm not sure what the status of that QR is. I had it for my review recently. I think I got it around the same time as this, and I was having some power issues. I'm not sure if they've updated or whatever. I haven't gotten any notifications and I haven't chased that up. But when I did ask, can I use this on other wheelbases, they said no, use it on an Asetek wheelbase. So that's the best of my knowledge right now. Let's get it on the rig, let's put it through its paces, and let's see if we can find any more differences between this and the Invicta. So one little thing of note when you're applying the stickers is that you've got left-sided stickers and right-sided stickers, because they've got this little kind of, almost like the corner of a little speech bubble in each of them. And on the steering wheel, might be a bit more difficult to see now. You can see the little corner on the right-hand side, points over to the right. On the left-hand side, points over to the left. Now, I don't see the point in that, because that is completely covered. There is light under it, but it's completely covering the light on every single sticker. So what's the point in it actually being there? It doesn't add any styling as such. So that is not necessarily a concern of mine, but I think if they want to keep costs down, they've got a duplication of all these stickers here. There's no need necessarily for this to be opinionated for left-hand stickers and right-hand stickers. It just doesn't really make too much sense for me. I get that some are vertical and some are horizontal. That makes perfect sense. But these left and right stickers, given where they appear on a steering wheel, it doesn't fully make sense to me. So here we are in the rig. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the software first, because even though this is SimHub compatible, so you can get a SimHub dash on here, it doesn't have all the niceties that we've come to expect from SimHub. So we don't get a lot of that, like light control. The lights are relatively limited as to what we can do. So they have done a good job with the software to an extent. There are some things that could be improved on. Like, for example, you can select multiples, and if you want to make all of these green instead of orange, you can easily do that quite easily there, like that, as you can see. That's nice, you can multi-select, but you only have a very limited palette of colors here. It'd be nice to be able to do a completely custom. You can also turn off the LEDs, of course, and you've got a different pressed color, so you can see as I press these, they all go blue. You can see some flag indicators coming on here, that they're in a kind of a cycle type of a motion at the moment. The reason that is because that's hooked up to SimHub. So it would be really nice if they would allow custom colors here, because this is a relatively limited palette, and you can kind of see, so the orange here works quite well with the orange here. Not that I'm a huge fan of it, I just wanted something different to what I have with the Invicta. With the Invicta, I just went for the black rings around the edges. I've gone for the orange here, but you can kind of see if we just select those rotaries, and if we go for yellow, you can see how the yellow works, the green, but you might want a certain shade of blue. You only really get these 3 options of blue, and they might not be exactly what you want. You only get 1 shade of red, so it's a little bit limited from that point of view. Things that they've done really nicely here, as I said, the multi-select of these, you can do multiple buttons at a time, which just is, SimHub doesn't even do that, so that's nice. And when you select these encoders, you can also have them as incremental, which is just left and right motion. But if you do hold, it will... Oh, I've selected the wrong one here. Select this one here. This back. Or you can put them both back to incremental at the same time. But if we're just concentrating on this top left one here that I'm touching, the hold position allows you to put it in a certain position. If you do pulse, it'll actually pulse. It'll press that one once, which is what we need for most. Like, for example, if you wanted to go to engine map 3 there, you could do it like that. And maybe if you wanted map 5 or whatever, you could do it like that. The truth is, though, most sim racers just use incremental like this, so left and right. And as I say, no click down on these. So you do get rotary on these. You cannot control how they, if they do pulse or position. They're just part of your 7-way hat functionality. What else? No buttons on the back. We don't have any extra paddles installed. The grips. You have multiple options of grips. As I mentioned, these have a nice little sponge to them. I actually almost feel like they have slightly more sponge than what I have on my Invicta, but there's very little in it. And we can control the shift lights here as well. Again, I would like if this was just all SimHub controlled, but on SimHub we only have very limited functionality. So by default, when SimHub's not running, we see the Asetek dash. And we'll just go in and have a quick look at it here. We go to the steering wheel and we go to the display. We can see we've got this road car layout, we've got GT car layout, and the Formula layout. And while there's not much wrong with these dash layouts, they're not really for me. I do like the way that N kind of moves, but that's about it. And if you want to go to the SimHub compatibility, you just go to SimHub here. Now, one thing to be aware of is that, and correct me in the comments, but from my playing around with this, they have activated the touchscreen, but the touchscreen just cycles through these layouts in the Race Pro software, in the Asetek software. It doesn't actually interact with, because the lovely dash, you should be able to click some of these and it should cycle through those dashes for you. So that's a little bit of a pity. While we're on that note, this is a 4-inch screen. It is a custom screen, so it's not like the same as what you get on most other steering wheels. It's their own custom circuit board and that. I would like to see a larger screen here. That's for the Invicta more so than for the Forte. At this price point, this screen, this combo, like this is, from my use of this wheel to date, it's actually really hard to believe I'm not using the Invicta. So I don't know, have they gone too close to the Invicta? I don't know. This is just excellent news for the consumer. I'll take it for a drive now and I'll show you some of these things, some of the flags and all that kind of stuff as well. So we're going to jump in and do a quick AI race here. You should see flags and everything on the screen. I use the Asetek Race Pro software to control the flags, just because, I don't know, I haven't found that SimHub gets along particularly well with the Asetek buttons and flags. These are your flag indicators. You can set it to only do those ones left and right of the screen. It doesn't have to be the whole steering wheel, but I quite like to do the whole steering wheel because, especially for yellow flag conditions, you can kind of see it nice and early, nice and quickly, and it's very in your face. You can also see the spotter. You saw a brief yellow flag there. You can also see the spotter when there's a car right, let's or left, but let's try and force a car right here. Oh, maybe we'll get an opportunity at car left. No, car right here. And we might dive in front of this one when we're clear. Oh, that's a very risky move if you do it. Not going for it. Don't want to end my race on lap 1. I'd love to go again here, but they're all a little bit slowed down, it seems. Let's try and get a bit of an exit. I could have done better. But as you can see, the steering wheel gives you quite a lot of information. Oh, that rev counter. Oh, sorry. 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 It's hard to talk and drive at the same time. That rev counter is very accurate. It's only an AI race. It's fine. I'm being more aggressive than I would in real life. And their difficulty is set quite high. The rev counter is really good. It's really accurate. There's a car trying to sneak up the inside there. All the buttons are in great reach. I would say the 7-way hats. Oh, jeez, that was some dive. Ooh. The AI is really going for it. I was caught napping there. The 7-way hats are really good. I mean, it's identical to the Invicta. Jeez, this... okay, that AI car ahead of me is pretty aggressive and good at defending as well. So a lot of the time AI will back out. But this car doesn't seem to really have much intention of backing out. So we're going to have to be clever about our overtakes. Car left. Lean on the front tires a little bit. Yeah, the dash is great. I would love to see a 5-inch screen. Maybe not on the Forte, because at this price point I think it's a lot to expect, or a lot to ask. Having a 5-inch screen at this price point, the 4-inch screen is more than good enough. I would like that touchscreen to be slightly nicer, because as I say, now that the touchscreen allows you to cycle through the Asetek dashes, but it doesn't allow you to interact with the SimHub dash, which is a little bit of a pity, and it kind of defeats the purpose for a lot of modern SimHub dashes. The lovely dash like you saw, this one here, or the likes of Daniel Newman Racing dashes, it kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. Oh, lock up. That you can't interact with the dash, because it's nice to be able to control the various components on there, especially when you're doing an endurance race. Speaking of endurance, and especially if you're using the likes of you know, a hypercar, something like that, where you need access to your ARB, you need access to your TC1, your slip angle, all that good stuff. You've got a total of 9 rotaries here, guys, which is insane if we count these thumb encoders as well. So as I say, if I want to change my brake bias, beautiful on-screen animations as well, and it's just within the thumb's reach. This is only a short race. The AI making it easy for me at times and hard at other times. And you can see the white flag. Now that white flag is, this is why you might not want all the buttons to illuminate the flags, because that white flag is going to be there for a whole lap. Around the outside. Ooh, wheel to wheel. That was a little bit much for me, a little bit much, I must say. I wouldn't be happy if someone pulled that move on me, but we live to fight another day. Jeez, nearly cursed it there. But yeah, I mean, guys, I've been using this. It is impossible to tell this apart from the Invicta steering wheel, and that is the ultimate, like, for a consumer, that is the ultimate thing. Now, it's a little bit similar to how you can buy an Apple Watch, and then you can buy one with identical functionality for more than twice the price. You just get a fancier strap and a fancier this and that. It's kind of like that. I can imagine that some people who saved and spent their hard-earned money on the Invicta steering wheel might be just ever so slightly put out that you know, they maybe didn't wait for the Forte steering wheel. But you know, that is much of a muchness, really. I think that you still got the exclusivity and you still got an amazing product in the Invicta. That's the end of this race, but that just shows you how this all works. You can see the pulsing flag lights there, and again these flag lights up here. We don't have the rubble flag. You know the way there's that yellow and red, or orange and red flag. We don't actually see that yet in any software. I don't think SimHub even supports that yet. But that gives you a good indication of what it's like while driving. Let's go for a quick summary. I think I've said pretty much most of the stuff that I wanted to say already, but just a quick recap. This is, for all intents and purposes, while you're using it, identical to the Invicta, especially if you get those extra paddles. You don't get the button on the back though. It does kind of feel like you have that button on the back, but you don't have it. You do have it on the Invicta, just for reference. There it is. You can do without that button though. You don't necessarily need that. This is very much, like I said, like the Apple principle. You can buy an Apple Watch, or you can get an upgraded one that costs twice or even 10 times as much, but it still does the same thing. This is kind of a little bit the cart before the horse. It's like they released the more expensive version first. That was so popular, I think, and the Invicta was so good that they decided to go for this one. They put their chips in on this one. All of those rotaries, like the amount of functionality you have is beautiful. The customizability is great. There are some negatives. I wish these buttons were backlit and not, you have lighting above it. Their argument is that when you're pressing the buttons, you don't, you know, if you're pressing a backlit button, if your finger is on it, you can't see. But I would argue you look at the button before you press it. You look for these labels before your finger's already on the button. These stickers as well, they're just a little bit, I don't know, they're a little bit difficult to apply. Some of them I've applied well. Others, when you get them slightly wrong, you get a little bit more light leak on one side than the other. So, and if you don't put these on, they're quite bright. So you have to turn that brightness way, way down. I love the diffused light around here though. So the rotaries, the facelift that they did was super good. And these buttons are great as well. All these are aluminium rotaries as well. And the ability to do different grips. Because if we see, I've got the Invicta, the Forte with the XL suede grips, and they're beautiful as well. I tend to like these grips, but I do like these suede grips as well. They're super, super nice. The quick release is a little bit different to the Invicta, but that doesn't make any functional difference. You've got a lot of great functionality with this to install an aftermarket quick release as well. I haven't used this with any other wheelbases, but I will be doing it in the future. So if anything develops there in the future, I'll let you know. They did advise for the purposes of this at this stage just to use an Asetek base. So I'm using the Invicta base with this. But yeah, it is, lads, it is fantastic. This is quite possibly the best value sim racing steering wheel that there is at the moment. And I don't say that lightly. It is excellent. The touchscreen functionality, I would like if that was native to SimHub, if that passed through to SimHub. So when you're on the SimHub screen, this is after going back into the Asetek mode, probably because it's in standby. But basically, when you're using SimHub, you can't interact with the dashes, which is something that I really like. So you have to end up mapping buttons or mapping some controls to be able to change those things on the screen. So that is definitely a big drawback. That is because they have their own proprietary screen here. It is definitely something that they could enable with software. So if you are watching this Asetek, I would love, love, love if you could enable that pass-through, or if it's already there, make it more intuitive, because I couldn't find it. And I've been using this for quite some time now. Probably the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been using this quite a lot. So yeah, it's excellent. I love it. I'll be using this on my streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. UK and Irish time. If you have any questions in the meantime, drop them in the comments. There is a link in the comments. This was sent to me free of charge for the purposes of this review. I'm never going to sell this thing. I'm never going to make money off it. I don't work like that on this channel. I never sell review hardware. That's why there's just hardware in the background all the time. I don't sell it. I tend to donate it to race car drivers, community members, and the likes. I never make money off it. But I do have an affiliate link. So if you do find value in these videos, please do consider using my affiliate links. They're all listed in one place, so you can find all my discount codes and everything there. I have discount codes for the Asetek products as well. So this already being an affordable wheel, you can get an additional discount on it, and I make some money as well. I don't know how Asetek are making money on this. Best not to ask too many questions. Best to buy these products when they hit the market. If this was the offering, because my heart was in the likes of Cube Controls and those beautiful steering wheels, this is right up there. No manufacturers are offering that level of steering wheel. No manufacturers of wheelbases are also offering that level of steering wheel other than Asetek. So bear that in mind. Conspit is coming close. I do think that the Asetek force feedback is better. They've been around a little bit longer. They are probably a little bit more known. Conspit have some catching up to do. So right now, this is one of the most exceptional combos. Get this Forte with an Asetek La Prima, and you will wonder why anybody needs more than that. I'm going to stop talking about it. I'm going to go do some more racing. I absolutely love this thing. I'm Lawrence. I'll chat to you later.